There's an old saying, there's no such thing as a bad product, just a bad price. And though I don't regard this phone as bad, I do believe that at the current price, it's pretty much a no-brainer, at least when compared with its regular MSRP. We're at the point in this product's life cycle where prices drop, increasing value for money substantially and rewarding those more patient phone buyers. So let's talk about this fantastic deal. Hey guys, I'm Ryan Thomas, and can you believe it's already been 3 months since the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra launched? Yeah, a quarter of a year has flown by, and Amazon now has it up for under $1,000 brand new. That's a saving of around $300. With that being the case then, and given there's been plenty of time for early patches to come over the air in software updates, let me talk you through why at this price, it's nearly impossible to say no to Samsung's best smartphone, because despite other higher end models coming into play, no current phone can really beat the value for money that this thing offers at the high level. I don't feel out of line in saying that Samsung has regularly made some of the most complete smartphones you can buy when it comes to balancing hardware, software features, unique touches, and availability worldwide. You might find a phone that's better in one way or another, but you'll never find a phone that does all of it as well as this. And I've spoken about that before, but particularly when you price it up cheaper than the S26 Plus MSRP, do you feel the real effects of this? It almost feels like a multiplier effect, and that's really impressive. By the way, if you enjoy the content we make here, then please do consider hitting subscribe to help us hit our goal of 500,000. Thank you very much. Beyond the specs, the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, 12 gigs of RAM, a big Quad HD Plus 120Hz AMOLED display, and a 5000 mAh battery, there are plenty of things here that you'd be forgiven for using to justify the phone at $1,300 on the full price. The S Pen is truly unique in this phone, super handy for finally marking up screenshots or photos, signing documents on the go, but it's also one of those things where you either use it all the time or you've never touched it since owning the phone. The privacy display feature lets you cut off viewing angles wider than pretty much dead on, and is also unique to this phone. A feature that I can see being an absolute game changer to those who commute in a busy city, for example. Again, something you'll either leave off permanently or use all the time. And the desktop experience in DeX is also a phenomenal tool to have in your arsenal, though perhaps the most niche of all of these, a real blessing for the few people that will require something like this. One of the key things I'd be buying the Ultra over a Plus or a base model for is the camera. It's basically the top of my list in terms of priorities, and I take a lot of photos. And though the hardware here is a little long in the tooth at this stage, and I really feel like Samsung needs to step up to the true ultra class phones to really compete in the high end, it's hard to argue with the point and shoot reliability here. Even trickier still to poke holes in the software tools like Expert RAW, Pro Video, and heaps of the different resolutions, frame rates to choose from. I generally find Samsung's camera processing to be really decent. It's sharper than maybe I want it to be, but also that means that photos pop, which is probably generally something that the grand majority of people are going to prefer over the more subdued sort of look that I'm after. The 5x lens is nice for getting closer to things that are far away, though it's not as powerful as I've become used to in some of the Chinese setups in the Ultra phones. But the whole photo and video capturing experience with the Galaxy S26 Ultra is spot on. It's inoffensive without feeling sterile, and to give credit to Samsung here, I do think that that is one of the hardest things to really balance. Oh, and the log video is some of the best in a smartphone, so those smartphone video nerds out there should at least get a kick from this thing. It is superb. But what I like about the Galaxy S26 Ultra over the Chinese Ultras that I've mentioned, well, 1,000 times by this point, is that you never feel like you need to be an enthusiast to appreciate and enjoy a lot of the features on offer here. Because the Samsung Galaxy Ultra is not a phone reserved for those with their fingers on the pulse of the next tech release radar. A lot of my friends and family, acquaintances, people I just happen to know that own some sort of Galaxy Ultra tend not to be the particularly tech savvy people, much like those who own iPhones or Pixels. It seems to be just sort of a broader, a bigger, a more feature rich smartphone for those who are happy spending a little bit more for their phone. The massive display is still one of the best that you will find in a smartphone. Samsung has done wonders not only with the color tuning here, but the totally flat surface, the crazy efficient fingerprint reader, the minimal bezels, the anti-glare coating, very underrated, and of course the privacy display feature. Though non-enthusiasts might not pick up on all those individual little details, they will notice the fact that the screen in their smartphone is absolutely absurdly good, and it's easier to use than their old one, which might not be as bright and it might be a little more glary, and it probably, most certainly, won't have that privacy display feature. And hey, I'm not a massive mobile gamer, but during my little review period here, I have managed to find myself getting weirdly locked into some of these titles. It's, with a phone screen like this, quite easy to do. The 5000 mAh battery and the 60-watt wired fast charging aren't exceptional on paper. Heck, they aren't in reality either, let's face it, but they are still probably more than good enough for the vast majority of people. As someone who truly believes that Samsung should be pushing the envelope and integrating silicon carbon batteries into the phones, I'm not letting the company off the hook here when I say this, but when all day, sometimes 2-day battery life is available with all the rest of these features in a phone that costs under $1,000, well, it certainly sweetens the deal a bit more. Most people are going to charge their phone overnight anyway, and so going beyond a day is just not going to be an important matter. In which case, I also think that the likes of the fast charging on here, 60 watts, isn't going to matter more than, let's say, 80 or 100 watts with another phone. And One UI for me is probably the best flavour of Android going. It's just the right amount of feature rich without being overly in your face. You can use all the AI stuff if you want to, like the image manipulation, data congregation, or you can just straight up ignore it / disable it a lot of the time, which is great for someone who isn't overly fond of AI like me. You get software support until 2033, and in general, I found it to be a very reliable software, at least more so than Pixel Experience, and certainly more than iOS 26 in my personal experience. The Galaxy S26 Ultra under $1,000 via Prime Day is an absolute steal. Samsung's best smartphone available right now for less than the S26 Plus MSRP is just ridiculous. And though there are certainly things about the phone that could be improved, if you spent that cash now, you'd have a phone that should see you through to the 2030s without breaking a sweat. And when you look at it like that, well, it's really hard to argue with this thing. Are you a Galaxy fan? Do you pre-order, buy on launch? Do you wait for times like these where you can save a few $100s on the latest version? Because you typically get so much more smartphone for your money after 3 or 6 months on sale. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and whilst you're down there, be sure to hit like if you enjoyed today's content and subscribe to never miss another upload on this channel. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Ryan Thomas, and I will catch you later. Cheers.